to day 15 of our series Grace Changes Everything, and today we're going to be looking at a subject under the title Treating the Symptoms. And I want to just take a little diversion away from the book of Romans to the book of Galatians, because it explains something that's really important to us. So in Galatians chapter 3 verses 12 and 13, now that no one is justified by the law before God is evident, for the righteous man lives by faith. However, the law is not of faith. On the contrary, Christ redeemed us from the curse of the law. Now there's something really important in there that I want you to see. But before I do so, I just got a few questions about, do you ever really feel that life is just too hard, that you can't get things sorted, you can't get all your ducks in a row, that no matter how hard you try, how much effort you put in, you don't seem to get any closer to God. You don't seem to get any nearer. All this trying, you try to mess up less, you try to clean up your act, you try to push in, but you just end up feeling like a failure, like you're letting God down and you're not getting any nearer to him, and you keep on trying. And at the end of it, you just reach this conclusion: I'm just rubbish at this Christianity stuff. Well, if you're that sort of person, then I've got some good news for you today. That was never how it was meant to be under the new covenant. You've been caught up by laws, rules, regulations, and a mindset that is saying that it all depends on you. It's down to your efforts. And that is simply not true. You cannot fix you. To fix you, you need the grace of God. You need him to change you. Now, when we talk about religion, religion hides behind all sorts of disguises. It can be found in pomp, glory, big ceremonies like we see at, televised services and all these sort of things. It can be seen in towering buildings full of incense and like icons and all the rest of it. But religion can also be found in little village churches, and it can be found in bustling city centres, and it can be found at really cool conferences. And you find it everywhere, and it's waiting there to grab you because it's hiding behind things, and it can hide behind tall towers, and it can hide behind lights and smoke machines just the same. Because religion gives you the message that you have to do it and you have to sort yourself out. And every time we try and do it in our own effort, we just end up feeling condemned. Focusing on sin, focusing on how wrong we are, will never make us better. Now, I know that's a controversial statement, so I need to explain that to you. You see, as we've looked at in the earlier sessions of this series, religion, law, and the whole performance-based system doesn't treat the cause of the problem. All it does is treat the symptoms. Our remorse, our sorrow, our guilt, they're inspired by the symptoms. They're very real feelings, they're very real reactions and genuine reactions, but they're inspired by the symptoms. Now, when I say that law doesn't treat those symptoms, it doesn't mean there's something wrong with the law. The law is good, but it's intended for a different purpose. It doesn't get to the cause of the problem. It just treats the symptoms of the problem. And if you're really going to change, you need to get to the cause of the problem. And you won't get there by your own efforts and trying to keep a set of rules, regulations, traditions, or religious performances. The only way, according to the gospel, you can be made right with God and you can stay right with God is by faith. Law, as we find out in this passage, it's a really straight, full-on statement. Law has nothing to do with faith. They don't exist in the same arena. Law is a completely different way of approaching things to faith. And so because law isn't anything to do with faith, it can't help you in getting right with God. You can't earn that, and you can't make God do anything just by you performing better. Salvation and new life from beginning to end are by faith, not works. You see, religious works, it's everywhere, but it's a completely different system and it's a completely different way of thinking. And it's the wrong medicine to treat the problem, since the problem can only be solved by a treatment based on faith. And as I've already said, and this passage says it clearly, law is nothing to do with faith. It's about self-effort. It's about keeping rules. It's about following traditions. It's about following performance-based acts. Now, here's the good news again. We're all in the same boat. No matter how good we are compared to others, whether we sit on the front row at church every week or whether we sit on the back, whether we shout it out loud or whether we sit there quietly, we all have the same symptoms. We all get stuff wrong, we all sin, we all do wrong things, and we need not just to clean up the outside to treat the symptoms, but we need a change on the inside. The treatment we need on the inside is the gift of grace. And that's provided by Christ's death, and he paid for it. It's the right tool. And we receive that gift, how? By faith. When we put our trust in Christ and give up trying to sort ourselves out, acknowledge we can't do it, and throw ourselves on his mercy and his grace and let him do it. And that is good news, because it means that all your efforts, all your trying, whilst that won't get you anywhere, trusting in him will change you from the inside out. So I'm just going to pray for you. Father, I thank you for the provision of grace. I choose it as the right tool in my life to enable me to change, to be changed from the inside out. Right now, I look to you to keep my focus on you and what you can do in my life, and not on me and what I can try to do. Amen.